in the paper, back when I read the Chronicle, that talked about various phases, in the industry to try to communicate to people, what's going on in our industry. And I thought it was real good what they did. That's not done anymore. So there's a disconnect between, the oil and gas industry and general public. Is that something that should be left up to the companies, trade groups, or the Railroad Commission?
It's a great question, and you know what? The answer is all three. So it should not be left up to anybody. But let me tell you what, the bully pulpit of being the commissioner of the 40% sector of Texas economy, people want to listen. My name's not E.F. Hutton, but when you start talking about the dollars and cents and how it actually impacts the price of milk grown, by the local dairy farm that HEB put on your shelf, people start realizing, you know what, I better wake up to this. And I think that we have to be so proactive that it would almost look like a sprinter going in the opposite direction of Washington, D.C. And by doing that, you get people to understand why these things are important. But we can't, one of the things I think we do is a real bad job of is we only talk to ourselves. I mean, I'm a conservative Republican. My last name's Martinez. You might have guessed that I'm a Hispanic, okay? All my family came here legally on both sides. One from Mexico, one from Germany, and 2 generations back it was in Spain, so that's why I'm whiter than you guys. But the interesting thing is that, one of the messages that I do is I go to places where no Republican has ever gone, because that's where the opportunity is to present salt and light to people that lack knowledge, and now you have the opportunity for that to be planted and for that to grow. But if you're afraid to go there, it's never going to happen. And so in this arena, I think we need to go down to the AFL-CIO. We need to go down to the biggest Democrat district and talk to them about, you know what, all you people that voted for that guy out there, guess what? Here's how much dollars and cents it put into your pocket at your school and in your husband and your son's job right here in your backyard. And I think once you start and it doesn't have to be fancy, just that real simple kitchen table, look, here's how this impacts you. But you can't do it unless you build a relationship. So you're going to have to go there, and you're going to have to, be willing to have the door slammed in your face, and then you're going to have to be willing to go back. And that, I believe, is how we win the culture war, because I think it comes down to a culture war.
It does. Bob?
I'm going to pass on this one.
I don't have a question right now either.
I was reading it.
So, in question number 7, what differentiates you from your opponents? You said oil and gas experienced businessman. Do none of the others have oil and gas experience?
I just found out that I think one of them, his family has some experience. I don't know about himself, so you have to confirm that.
Okay.
Is that accurate? Yeah, I believe that. I think I'm the only one that's been on the front line, so to speak. I know that people are excited to know that I'm not a lawyer. They said I look like one, and I told them I'm sorry. But it's real simple.
So you're a commissioner on the real estate, Texas Real Estate Commission, and basically you said there were a lot of similarities in those two. How do they differ other than real estate and oil and gas? I mean, how much is the same and how much is different if you're promoting the fact that
process is extremely similar, except the difference is that more people care about it. So with the Railroad Commission, they care more about it, obviously. So in that situation, we've got the mechanics are the same. That's why, being an attorney, it's like you're not going to represent the Railroad Commission as an attorney. We've got general counsel and a team of lawyers that takes care of all those issues. God bless you and your legal background. And, I applaud you for your education, but again, we need to know, how do we bring practical solutions that really work in the field, and how do we not get caught up in the minutia of the different things, but at the same time, understand that and, or, comma, shall, but, those are all, right, that's where legislation lives and dies. And if you realize that, you don't have to be a lawyer. All you have to do is be a committed conservative that's gonna focus on property rights and energy independence every single day that you're up there. And now, it really works. So mechanics, 99.999% the same size. It's a lot smaller. And the customer is different, but you'll get a kick out of this. So one of the things, because you asked a question earlier, how do we kind of unify people? One of the ideas that I have is bringing the real estate individuals into the table when we're talking about oil and gas issues. And here's the reason why. You've got a neutral, quasi-neutral, independent third party that wants to make sure that deal goes down, because they want to get paid. So they're going to hold both sides accountable to make sure that contracts are written properly, consideration is given properly, minerals that are leased, unleased, spread out, all those types of things. They're gonna, they're very good at being engaged and involved, whether they sell ranch land only or whether they sell in town. But I think that is one of the ways when we talk about how do we get that messaging out there, bringing those folks to the table and educating them on, hey, this allocation well thing over here, here's why you care about it. And here's why, if that, and so those are some of the things, when we talk about water rights, when we talk about, surface rights, because some people down there today, they own no minerals, they just own the surface. And they're very upset, why is Chevron or Murphy Oil over here drilling in my backyard? I've owned this property for 20 years. Well, just, they've got a different kind of property right connected to the same kind of property. And these, the realtors, I believe, is just a group that can help us mitigate some of the issues and get the messaging out there a lot better.
So, we're closing in on about 5 minutes to 6. Why don't we go ahead and wrap it up with your closing of
Sure.
comments, and then we'll turn the camera off just for a couple minutes.
Okay, great. All right, well, first off, thank you guys for taking time to meet with me today. It's really great. The questions you asked are really great. And I really wish that every group was so committed towards this particular unsung hero in the state of Texas, because there's so many different things that we talked about that if people really just got a little bit of understanding on, would really make it a lot better place to work in and to operate in. But, I'm committed. I've got a conservative track record. There's no question about that. I've been engaged in every fight, whether it was popular or unpopular, and I'm going to continue to do that every single day that I wake up in this capacity. Again, I've enjoyed my time on the Real Estate Commission. It's been a blessing. I would not have thought that it was one of the exciting things for people to know about me, and it's really good to know the process and to understand the role of a commissioner and understand the role of the commission. The last thing we need is a Donald Trump on the Railroad Commission, especially going in to sunset. I mean, you want to talk about upsetting the apple cart? Ladies and gentlemen, put somebody like Donald Trump on the Railroad Commission, and don't put somebody like Ted Cruz, and you're going to see the problems. We want somebody like Ted Cruz. We don't want somebody like Donald Trump on the Railroad Commission. And taking that, and then also finally taking the experience that I have. It's my experience. It's real experience. And I know that, firsthand perspective of some of the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I look for transparency. I look for how we can work together to really move the ball forward, keep the Texas miracle alive. Because at the end of the day, we don't have another Texas to move to. And I would sincerely ask for your support, ask for your vote. This is not something I take for granted. This is not a stepping stone position for me. And I'm not a recycled, I'm a fresh face. I know people are tired of seeing recycled candidates. And I'm committed to filling out the entire term of the commission. And I know that some of the folks in the industry and in the landowners they want to know, they want some consistency in the commission. So I'm committed to be there for the entire time and the entire term. And I appreciate folks visiting my website, westonfortexas.com. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and message me with your questions, and I'll be more than glad to respond to you. And just remember that together, we can continue to make Texas better, and we can make Texas energy independent. Thank you for your time and your vote.
Thank you, appreciate it.